If you're looking for the perfect EDC knife, well, this is not it, but it's very close to perfection for the price point that you're getting this specific knife. So I do like this design. I really dig this entire prehistoric kind of a look to this, and how small this is in your pocket, and it fits just about anything. Now this knife itself, you can open it just like this. It's a very easy way for you to open. The second way is to go ahead, put your finger right here and to open it just like that, which is a little bit on the harder side. And the third way for you is to close it. Basically, there's only two ways for you technically to open this specific thing, is to press this down and all the way down, and then you're gonna go and close it with two hands. Now this is a two-hand knife. It's not a survival knife. It's more like a knife that you take it on the go, EDC knife, and it looks pretty good. So it is for good looks, it is for value, and it is for practicality, and that's about it. So this knife is something that you should consider in case you are thinking about, I want to get an expensive knife. So you can really see here how this thing really shines. It looks really slick. It does. It has this very unique kind of look that you cannot get with most knives. And for the price, you might be thinking, oh, this is $200, and it's not. This value is about 66 bucks. Not sure why they came up with this specific price point, but do I think that this is too expensive for the price? I think it's about fair. I think for 68 bucks you should be expecting something around this perimeter for this specific knife. And for the quality, you kind of feel that this is a $60 knife per se. So you don't feel ripped off, and at the same time you don't feel like you overpaid for this specific knife. Here is the unboxing of the Zero. This is the Desert Warrior 2.0 knife, and it's made by the Fox company. You can see the Fox logo over here. This one is an interesting knife made in Italy. The box it comes with looks exactly like this, and this is exactly what you're going to be getting, with a very interesting looking canopy carry case that is also included. Now this knife is not for everyone, and there is good things and bad things about this specific knife. So in case you're looking for something different, this is definitely a looker when it comes to how it looks. I like this whole entire caveman style over here, and it makes it look so good when you're going to be buying it. The black one is better, in my opinion, than any other color combo, because the rivets over here are going to look totally off with every other color except the black one. That being said, if you're a big fan of the Desert Warrior edition, you can get a different one instead. So the good thing about this is the size. It's very pocketable. It's relatively easy for you to open this with one hand, but there is resistance. You feel resistance as you're opening this. So I don't like how it snaps back and how it's much harder for you to open this. Now, if you made it all the way up to here, you can continue going. But if you made it half the way, it can snap back on you. So that's a little bit of a safety hazard. It's very similar to the Spyderco knife, but the price is just better. It's just much cheaper. The steel quality is very good too. And the knife itself feels really sophisticated. Now, there is something I dislike about this knife, and I'll go into this in a second, but I want to show you how it actually looks like up close. And the grooves are so beautiful when it comes to this knife. It is a work of art. I really enjoy looking at this. Now, when it comes to a few perks that are not so good, like the cons of this knife, well, some might say this one is a little bit on the wrong side. I really wish it was a little bit smaller for the clip. This is just nitpicking. But the biggest things that I have an issue with, and that might not be an issue for you, right here you can kind of hear the hot handle on the back over here as you're holding this. But of course, if you put your hands in a better grip, you're not going to have this issue. There's also a spot that you can stick your finger right here in case you want to chew it up really close by if you want to, and you're not going to cut yourself. It is a possibility for if you have huge hands. I have large hands, so this just shows that this knife is kind of small when it comes to my hands, yet it is good grip and really good function with this knife. Now my biggest beef with this knife is obvious here, but maybe not to everybody, is this right here. So as you press this down, see, it doesn't snap down because it is a cheaper knife for the price, and it's understandable. But at the same time, you have to press so much down on this. Now, for those of you who think this is a joke, or of course, are okay with using a lot of force to try to open this up, and maybe over time this is going to loosen up, it might be not such a bad deal. At the same exact time, this is totally fine for the price point. For example, if you're opening this up, you're going to be using it a lot and you're not going to be closing it on a daily basis, it might not be such a big issue. As soon as you come to close this, that's when the biggest issue comes in play. So I'll show you right here. So I'm pressing on it. Even if you press a little bit, it's not going to close. Second, you have to have two hands for you to actually close this. And there is no going around this one as well. So going all the way in, see, I'm almost all the way in and it's not budging at all. You have to go all the way until you're all the way in and this thing lifts up. And then you can move it in. Now, it does make your finger just hold as you're doing it. But that's the only way it actually closes. And then after you do this, you have to manually just continue and close it with your hand as well. So this process is not fun. It hurts my finger. And you might call me a wuss, but you get this knife and you see what I'm talking about. It takes you some power for you to actually do this. That being said, I still dig the looks and I still think it's a fine knife. But this is just a major issue with it. It's not a minor issue for that. Now the blade is very sharp. It looks really slick. And I like the point spear look in this. In fact, this protects you right here from you accidentally, when you're cutting something, from you keep going and slicing your finger as you're doing it. So this is a good protection for this very much, and I like that. So overall, it is a decent knife. There is so much good things going forward except for the closing mechanism. I think the opening mechanism is okay. It might be better, but the closing one is just terrible. For the price point, you're still getting a pretty good deal here. And if you are okay with those cons in this specific knife, you will really enjoy it. For the price, you cannot beat the quality that you're getting in this specific knife. Yeah, it hurts my finger to close it and it might hurt yours, but you know what? That is something you have to put up with. Because if you want to get a nice knife, super nice quality in this specific edition, then you have to be able to understand that this is not a Spyderco. To get this kind of quality, you have to sacrifice something. And the opening mechanism in this one is exactly what you're sacrificing. So that being said, the presentation wise, this thing is awesome. And overall quality, I would say I rate this as 7.2 out of 10. And that, I think, the biggest thing, this is a major issue, but the opening and closing, altogether, both of those are subtracting 2 different points. And the last 0.8 of a point that I'm subtracting for this is just the ergonomics of it. It's pretty much just incorrectly done, I would say. it should be a little bit bigger, but that's me just nitpicking this. And I believe the blade steel should be a little bit better as well. It doesn't even say on the blade what kind of steel that you're actually getting, so you have to dig into it to try to find out what is exactly what you're getting with this knife. But other than that, other than those small issues, I think overall you're getting good value for the price. You really should get this before it goes extinct. And you can look everywhere you want, but yeah, the blade steel doesn't even say what it is. So you have to guess or look at the specs, try to find out what is the deal with this knife. Thank you so much for getting all the way to the end of this video, and of course you probably made some kind of a decision. Did you decide to get this, or maybe you want to pass and not get this? Now, I want to tell you a few more things that might change your mind about this, but specifically, if you're a collector, this is a cool knife to have in your collection. I do dig this very interesting ancient look that gives it this vibe that is really, you don't get this anywhere else. Now, when it comes to practicality, it is practical as well. And for the price, it is awesome. But when it comes to you closing this knife, it is an absolute pain. And opening it is not as fun either. So it's kind of mixed when it comes to this specific knife. But I do stand by my rating of it being 77.2 out of 10. And 10 would be the perfect rating for it. And I do think that if they made a few different adjustments to this, they can probably get this knife to be much better. And especially if they made it easier to close and open, that might get it all the way to 8.5. So, which actually means that if you have a copy that you can easily open and close, maybe over time it's going to get better, and I did try to oil it up, maybe this knife is much better than I'm reviewing right now. So give this a go if this is the style you're looking for, and if those cons are something that actually don't make a difference to you.